Yay! Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 4.
Yes.
So excited for tonight. We have an awesome show planned.
We have Francesca Arturi
Welcome to episode
Buncee. She is the school relationships manager from Buncee. She's awesome. If you know me at all, you know how obsessed I am with the Buncee platform. So I'm like super excited that she's here today to talk about her perspective, her experiences as a woman working in ed tech, especially for this awesome company, this awesome organization. So get ready.
Yes.
Action.
Grab your top tails and let's roll that intro.
Woo! Yes!
Yay! I love our intro so much.
Yay!
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Francesca. Okay, or Cheska, right? Is that cool if we call you Cheska?
You know, my close friends like you guys call me Cheska, so you guys can call me Cheska.
Awesome. I'm so excited that you are here today. As a matter of fact, one of our fellow Buncee ambassadors, Deb, came to our show to watch.
Yay! Hi, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
We love you.
Deb's making an awesome Buncee bookmark. She's the queen of the Buncee bookmarks.
She is.
Yeah. She does a good job with that. Such a good way to like get the kids reading. So speaking of books, hello.
Yes.
We so episodes with some book talk. Stephanie, I don't know if you want to go ahead and start with what you're reading.
Yeah. I am about to finish 10 Things I Hate About Pinky. Am I going in and out?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Green is a little bit going in and out.
Dang. Okay, so I just finished, or actually I'm about to finish. Yeah, it's you. All right, I'm just going to
break it up a little bit. That's it.
Anyway, I'm about to finish 10 Things I Hate About Pinky by Sandhya Menon, and she is the author of When Dimple Met Rishi and There's Something About Sweetie. So she writes about Indian American, Pakistani American girls, kind of romancy books, and they are so cute. It is one of my favorite universes to read. And this one, Pinky, is this like punk rock girl. She's got colored hair. She's all about fighting the patriarchy and doing protests and like saving the world and all that stuff. And over the summer, she has a fake boyfriend named Samir, who is the complete opposite of her. Like, he lives by his planner. He's very planned. He's very to the point. He's super straightforward. Like, he wants to be a lawyer. And so Pinky hires him to be her fake boyfriend so that her mom can see her make a good decision, because she and her mom are constantly butting heads. And of course, in true YA fashion, they fall in love. But they end up questioning, like, will this work in real life outside of summer? Because they're so different. So it's really, really cute. I love it. I'm about 85% done on my Kindle, and I'm really sad that it's going to be over soon.
Sounds very relevant. That does sound very cute.
It is really cute.
My bad. I was all on mute. I'm so sorry. Today is full of technical difficulties. Poor Judge. Yeah, my book was American Royals, but I'd rather talk about this book I just ordered called The Distance Learning Playbook. And this is why I love Twitter, because people recommend books sometimes for, PD or teacher growth. And I was curious. I was thinking maybe it's something that I could kind of suggest to my teachers. And I really like it. I like the way it's organized, gives you a lot of tips, even sections in the book that kind of act as a workbook. So you can kind of write down your reflection notes, which is pretty neat. So considering that we're all going online, I think it's a pretty neat read. So found on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. It's like almost $30. Kind of pricey, but kind of worth it. I know, but it's worth it. It's a really good book. Jessica, are you reading anything?
I started The Hate You Give.
Yes.
Yes.
I honestly have been kind of a negligent reader in general, so there you go. So I would love any tips from both of you on getting more consistent with my reading. But
this is a great one to follow up with.
Yeah, that's
down.
Anything by Jason Reynolds, honestly, is
he's my author boyfriend, and I will fight anyone.
But I really did like The Hate You, or I've been liking The Hate You Give, and that was actually a recommendation. I mean, I've seen it online before, but from someone at the New York City School Library System, so from a fellow librarian here in New York.
Hey. Awesome.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of book recommendations, and especially Stephanie, since she sits on some committees also, so she always has a good book talk. And you can even go down her YouTube.
Yeah, I've got a ton of vlogs on books. I think The Hate You Give was one of my first vlogs.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I know it's not new, yeah. I did order it from a local bookstore as opposed to Amazon. Not that I've definitely ordered from Amazon, so not there's anything wrong with that, but I felt very good helping a local bookstore at this time.
Yeah. We're definitely an Amazon house.
Yeah.
What bookstore do you order from there?
In this instance, it was a Long Island bookstore.
Cool.
So local here. I'm on Long Island right now.
Cool.
Yeah, I follow them on Instagram and I look at it.
That's awesome. All our local bookstores kind of closed down here. There's one at South Padre Island that I really like going to, but
they're gonna close soon.
Yeah, it is sad.
It's really sad, you know, and I wish there was more shops like that. But
one of my favorite things about moving to Austin was that there were so many more bookstores than there were in the Valley.
Yeah,
probably.
I would go for that reason. Okay, but I don't want to like deviate from the discussion because obviously people are here to learn about you, Jessica.
Yes.
Like, obviously, Buncee, I mean, at least from when I first started using it a few years ago, the platform has changed tremendously.
And exploded.
Yeah, it exploded. I mean, there's just, I think the reason that I love it so much is I feel like you guys are in my brain as to what I want.
We are. We actually have little tips in everybody's brains.
Yes. And I don't know, I just believe in the platform so much. My kids love it. I mean, the library's packed anytime that I teach them about it. Like, that's all they want to use for presentation because they know that it's easy to use. It's very kid-friendly. The graphics are adorable. I mean, I honestly don't know. Yeah, and it's fun. And I don't know how you all do it. I mean, your graphic designers, your whole team, everyone's amazing. Everything that you all put out is amazing. The training. So, like, tell us about yourself. You're a school relationships manager, but like, what does that entail necessarily?
Yeah, so our graphic designers, first off, I think our graphics are one of the biggest assets, literally graphic assets, but assets of Buncee. So kudos to our graphic designers for creating new animations and stickers. Hey, Ida, here's a Buncee team member here. Every day. And in terms of the Buncee product itself being very different, it certainly is very different than it was even a couple of years ago. But that is not largely in part to the community of educators we work with. We hear, I mean, as you mentioned, it's kind of like we're in your brain, which we might literally be in your brain, but also we just take feedback from everybody. And obviously take it very seriously since we, although we're very familiar with educators, are not in the classroom, in the library. So your feedback is very important to us. And in fact, like my mom, the founder and CEO, and I'll go into that in a little bit, of Buncee, strongly encourages the developers to go into classrooms, into libraries, pre-COVID when we were doing that. It's not a daily occurrence for sure, but like to see, where a student might have a question about something and, how can we make it a smoother process? So it's a continual, improvement based on what the developers actually saw in the classrooms and just feedback we've heard online.
That is amazing. I love that real field experience because ultimately it's going to be the students are the users, the teachers are the users.
Yeah.
So, I mean what better way to promote an educational platform by going
into the school?
Yeah. That is so awesome. I would love to hear more about that, like different companies doing that, because sometimes I feel like the tool is created and it's like, what do I get out of it? You know, like, yeah, it's cool, yeah, it's nice, but as an educator, you know, how can you engage me? How can you engage the students?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just check off all the boxes because I absolutely love it. So
yeah, and it definitely is like, we could think a product feature on our end, not in the classroom, is super important and super necessary. But if you go into the classroom and you see, or the library and see that, you know, some other little tweak would be much more relevant than what we think in our heads would be very relevant. So it's definitely very important, both for my role and for the developers who are actually coding, to see what is important to you guys.
So cool.
Yeah.
So
no,
you mentioned coders. Do you have any female coders that help you with your Buncee platform?
we actually don't have developers. However, we do. Our team is almost equally female as it is
That's
male.
good. That's good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Currently, we don't, but we do have equally male-female team, which I was going to mention later on. But it's, I think, one of the biggest takeaways I've had from my experience at Buncee is how important it is to have a diverse team, both in terms of genders and backgrounds. It's obviously very important. So I think that would be one of the biggest takeaways I've had from my experience at Buncee, is how important that is.
And you're based out of New York, and New York's pretty diverse. So it's really nice to have a team that reflects your community.
Mm-hmm.
The kids want to see themselves in the platform as well. So like every time that you upload a new graphic, or I see new, I guess, stickers, people from different backgrounds, different abilities. I love that because the kids need to see that in the platforms that they're using. And maybe they won't hopefully know where to go using, you know, another presentation tool, but at least with Buncee, it's all there, which is why I love it, right? Which is why I love it. And, you know, and I think that's the whole point of the show, is to encourage women who maybe didn't see themselves in a developer coder, you know, world or type of role. And kind of encourage them, like, these opportunities are out there. It's just a matter of getting yourself out there and believing in yourself that you can do this, because coding is hella hard.
Yeah.
I took a coding class at when I went to Fordham, and it probably wasn't the right class for a newbie to coding, but it was it's hard, for sure. It takes a totally different skill set than, you know, my role at Buncee. But yeah, our team is super diverse, and it is representative of, I guess, the city we're in.
Yeah,
that's so awesome. I tell myself that I can code only because I can do what we learned in MySpace. But like, I can change colors of things, and I can do formatting, but let's be real, I can't do like the big amazing coding things. So I would love to know more about coding. It's very helpful.
Yeah. As far as like block coding, I know, but ask me to enter Python, I don't know, scripts, I don't know what that is. Like I've tried, and I went through a Raspberry Pi training, and then after that training, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I need someone to show me. I have no idea. But you mentioned, I mean, that your role is obviously different, right? So like in your aspects, what does your role necessarily entail as a school relationships manager? Like, do you go out to the schools, or how?
Yeah. So I'd say my favorite part of my role at Buncee, which is school relationship manager, was pre-COVID, getting to go out into schools, into libraries, to both provide in-person training, to support librarians and educators and students in implementing Buncee. So I will say, I guess I'm the kind of person, I don't really want to be, you know, sitting all day, which is one part of my job that I really love. Is there's numerous parts, but one part is certainly before working from home, getting to go out into libraries and meeting with students, meeting with teachers. I mean, that's where my most rewarding experiences, I think, have come from, is from getting out into the schools, as well as the stories I've heard from educators. So I'd say my role is primarily supporting schools and libraries as they implement Buncee to support their students, both in literally getting the account set up logistically, and in providing training to help them use Buncee to whatever their needs may be. Buncee is a very multi-purpose tool, as you both know, and it can meet a lot of different needs, but the users of the tool, the educators and students, need to know how to use the tool and for what end, because otherwise it doesn't help them meet their needs. So my goal is to help them use Buncee to help them meet whatever that need may be, whether it be they want to have their students create digital stories, or they want to make content more accessible for language learners. One of my most rewarding experiences at Buncee has been working with a special needs high school here in New York City, where the reason they implemented Buncee, the assistant principal heard of Buncee at a conference, reached out to us, but the reason that they implemented it is because some of their students can't hold a pencil to write a written composition, but they could use the drawing tool to demonstrate their learning, or drag in a sticker, add in audio. So that was probably one of the most rewarding experiences. And my goal with my job at Buncee is, I saw the school, they had a need for making written compositions. Buncee was a fit for them. And one of their students used Buncee's platform during COVID even to create basically a card for her teacher. She unfortunately got COVID. She's better now, thank God. But she created a card for the teacher saying, "I miss you, I'm better now," and just things like that. That may not be specifically for an academic reason, but for more of an SEL relationship building reason, are also equally rewarding, as if not more so than the academic purposes of Buncee.
I love making gift tags with it. Yeah. I like making social media graphics, flyers. So, yes, I use it in the library for my students to create projects. But I really like using it as a creation tool for myself, for my purposes, signage, or any really festivity even. I remember making somebody's baby shower flyer on it just because it was adorable. There's greeting cards. You could send a birthday card with a video. There's just the possibilities really are endless.
And the Idea Lab, I can sit there for hours and just steal things from the Idea Lab because it's so cool.
Yeah, they do have some. Starting from scratch with Buncee is awesome, but having a template to go off of and then making it your own is obviously equally as fabulous, especially if you're short on time, as many of us are.
We even used Buncee because we had to make a vision board for our doctoral program, and we used the Buncee corkboard background, and we used Buncee for it. It was really fun.
That is, I had wanted. Sorry, I totally cut you off there. I wanted to make a vision board, like a physical vision board, but I literally just wasn't able to get the cork board and print out the paper. So I definitely should do that on Buncee this time.
So tell us more about, you said that your mom is the founder and CEO of Buncee. So tell us more about that.
Ooh,
I want to hear the Buncee story.
I want to know this story. I've been dying to hear the story.
I'm surprised you don't already know it, honestly, just from being part of the Buncee fam. But
I don't know the specifics. I just know that your mom's a major badass, and so are you, and so is the whole team.
That is true. So she's a great female figure to have both at work and as a mom. But yeah, so my mom, I may have already mentioned this, I don't know, but she started her career as a partner of an IT consulting firm. Years later, she and my family started a medical research foundation for a type of anemia called diamond black fan anemia. So leaving one of the research conferences, so this is related to STEM, they're all different researchers, female, male, but leaving one of these medical research conferences, she wanted to basically send a digital story thanking all the researchers for attending the conference. She wanted to choose her own background. She wanted to add photos, probably stickers in her mind, although she maybe didn't know there were stickers at the time. Basically a custom digital story, not just this Hallmark e-card. So she wanted basically a platform like Buncee that was web-based and easy to use, not Photoshop. So that's where the idea came from, is a need that she had for creating a multimedia creation to thank medical researchers. So she went ahead and built out the Buncee platform, not completely by herself, of course, with developers, actually originally in Argentina. That's where the developers were.
Wow.
Global world we live in. But Buncee then evolved. It started here on Long Island, New York, at a small office space, like above a hardware store. The educators we knew were starting to use Buncee for many of the purposes we're talking about now, for creating presentations, for having students create stories, etc. Of all the reasons you guys are using Buncee today. And that's when we built out the classroom dashboard. So we built out classroom dashboard functionality, really hand in hand with educators that we were close with here on Long Island. So as a family started companies, not just family, but I did help my mom in the beginning get started as well. I will say probably also one of the best parts of working at Buncee is getting to see, not many people get to see a startup, an impactful startup from, day one through day whatever it is. And from the beginning, from the little seedling it was, to working with 187 different countries, or with educators in 187 different countries. So that is, and yeah, Deb Zeman here is from New York, fellow Long Islander. Although transplant to you, Texas folks. But yeah, that is the Buncee story. It started out as a way to thank medical researchers from our family foundation, now as a way to empower students as creators and educators as well.
Wow.
That is so cool.
What a bridge,
Right?
From the idea so simple as a thank you to a global platform that can so many and brought us all together. I mean, would have never have connected with you unless, your platform was available. And that in itself is just so inspiring, because it just goes to show that you can absolutely find a solution to something that maybe you need. And
it always makes me really excited when people who don't have an educational background, like you don't work in schools, you're not librarian, you don't have the background we do, but you made something for us that we use almost daily and has such a huge impact on us and our students. Like, it blows my mind, but it makes my heart so happy that you think about us.
I mean, and it wasn't like it took a slightly alternative path from where Buncee originally began, but still impactful. And honestly, when students, I don't know if you guys saw that educators are doing the Hugs for Heroes project during COVID, where educators around the country were making thank you cards on Buncee for essential workers. So kind of looped back around to many years later, students and educators making thank you cards essentially on Buncee once again. So the same idea of using a multimedia tool to create essentially that's easy to use just started out as a totally different route. And I will say, although my mom and I don't have formal education backgrounds, and I say my mom and I, but she's really the one who started Buncee. But my 3 family members from her side are educators, and they work for the New York City DOE. So I guess there's my grandma, my uncle, my cousin on her side were educators. So there was education in the family, though she's not directly an educator.
That is so cool.
But you hear those conversations and you want to play out eventually into the classrooms and, the different issues that impact schools. And just that alone, I'm assuming you can format your platform to address those needs. So that's a really nice access to information, because it's not like anybody's just walking up and saying, hey, by the way. Yeah. DOE also, that'd be awesome. The conversations I could imagine that take place.
So you said that y'all started as a little tiny thing above a hardware store. Do you have a Buncee office now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although we're all working from home, we still have an office on Long Island. So we're not just, we're not just above a hardware store anymore. But yeah, no, I mean, it's been amazing. We're still a small team. We're still, 20 folks about in total. So it still feels like a Buncee family. And I will say our ambassador community also feels like a Buncee family. It is sad that we aren't getting to see everybody in person, although we did see you, Stephanie, at TCEA.
Yeah.
Not all that long ago. But yeah, so we're still a small team, but obviously we have a much, much larger reach than we did before. And then, another Buncee story that we always share, but it's because it's one of those impactful ones, was from, drawing a blank on the country now, but it was a country not in the US, where there was a selectively mute student who used Buncee to demonstrate his learning, essentially. So we hear stories now from all over. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I think my experience at Buncee, one, has shown me that if you have an idea, especially now with this global technological world we live in, there's not really a reason you can't. I mean, you can come up with different reasons if you want to, but in reality, you could really create whatever you want, just as my mom did.
So cool.
I made a computer desktop background today, and I had it from a couple of years back, and I swapped out my work desktop today because I went to go visit campus, and the one that I had was end of life, so I didn't realize, when you switch to a new computer, you're gonna need to download everything. So I kind of like edited, the different templates that I had, and just to say that Buncee for the kids is great, but I mean, it makes your stuff look cute.
It really does.
For everything. I love using it for everything. Like every assignment for class now, I just want to do, I want to do it on Buncee. I don't want to do it on anything else. I want to add, if I can't add animations of stars, then
that's purple.
Yeah. If I can't add sparkles, then I don't want anything to do with it.
Aside from the academic benefits that we hear from educators about, after they've implemented Buncee, it brings levity to, especially now, a time that could use some levity, I think, whether it be a dancing Buncee Man sticker, or your son, Oliver, laughing at dancing Buncee Man.
Yes, he did.
There's a lot to be said for the fun that Buncee brings to little daily activities.
Oh, yeah. My son couldn't stop cracking up. I don't even remember what I was making, but I just inserted Buncee Man. I don't know what he was doing, dancing, started cracking up like crazy. Like every time he sees the Buncee Man now, he just loses it. I think it is so cute. Because I guess he knows it's for kids. Isn't it weird how kids know when it's for kids? So it was just like, oh,
yeah, funny.
I love Buncee Man. How did Buncee Man become a thing?
Yeah.
How did Buncee Man become a thing? So, have you guys ever heard of Maggie and the Ferocious Beast?
Yes. I love that show.
I think it's because you're a librarian somehow, because not many people who aren't from, I feel like Long Island or up here maybe have heard of it. But yes, so Maggie and the Ferocious Beast, for those of you who don't know, is a children's story and animated series. There's books and animated series about a ferocious beast and a pig named Maggie. Not the pig. The pig's not named Maggie. That's Hamlet. The girl's named Maggie. Anyways, the illustrator behind Maggie and the Ferocious Beast created Buncee Man. He's actually from our area. Mickey Paraskevas, for those of you who don't know, Mickey, for listening. But yeah, no, he's a local illustrator who I used to actually, as a child, he had a store. Him and his mom had a store on Long Island. So we would go to the store. They had the books. They had artwork there. Anywho, he created Buncee Man. I don't know where he necessarily got the idea from, but it's a speech bubble. So it represents communication. But yeah, it came from the illustrator of Maggie and the Ferocious Beast, which is a fun fact.
I had no idea what that was, but I looked it up, and yeah, it looks super cool.
Now I'm singing the song in my head.
I think you might know better than I do, actually.
Doggy and the ferocious beast.
It's very cute.
It's super cute. So getting back to what we were talking about, as a woman in tech, what kind of challenges have you faced and how do you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah. So I think largely due to the fact that Buncee is a woman-run and founded company. We have a Maggie and the Ferocious Beast lover on, but since Buncee is a woman-run founded company and really almost 50-50 female-male, our workplace is very diverse, very inclusive. So my personal experience with Buncee is I wouldn't say I've faced any, if many, challenges from being a woman. With that being said, obviously there certainly are instances where women do face challenges in any industry, whether it be education or ed tech. And upon thinking about the question, I think the best route, or upon thinking about the question, my thought would be connecting with like-minded men and women, whether it be online or at your own schools, your own organizations, is a really great route to go. There are obviously like-minded folks like you two here, very strong female figures.
We try.
And connect. And if you're facing an issue, a lot of times someone's probably faced a similar issue as well. So I think connecting online, using the support and guidance of groups that your PLN, whatever it may be, to help face and overcome any obstacles, whether it be for emotional support or guidance in these instances. I think that's a great route to go. I mean, I know I've obviously connected with you two both online, and yeah, so I think using your personal networks, both female and male, is a great route to go. But I also think that my experience with Buncee has taught me how important it is to have a diverse team. Because again, like I said, we're very diverse, both from where, in terms of gender and from where the teams come from. It is representative, I guess, kind of where we are in the country. We're in New York, but yeah, it's so important to have that representation and that inclusive environment, and also the leadership. So yes, leadership is my mom, but she also is a very inclusive leader. She'll take any ideas from anyone on the team. It's a very open environment, not very hierarchical. So I think I've been very lucky for numerous reasons, but for that, for the environment I work in as well. And I think that my experience has taught me how important it is to bring that kind of environment to other organizations, other schools, districts, whatever it may be.
But it speaks to the effectiveness of having an environment that is inclusive, because obviously Buncee has been able to achieve so much with its integrations and its updates and all the Buncee advancements, and I'm sure that that's only been made possible because of the inclusivity that your organization has. And I mean, I'm sure, when you talk about, I guess, the obstacles that women face in the work environment, and you said, for the most part, it's all about relationships. And if you know that your environment is toxic, I mean, obviously, those types of places don't really have it to, say, whoa, this is a great place for career advancement. But, I'm sure that the business model within Buncee is just that. It's a great model for other companies to probably maybe look to and say, okay, you know what, this is a great educational platform. Obviously, it's connected so many. Yeah. So what are we doing so right that can be replicated? And maybe, of course, there's only one Buncee, of course, right? But I mean, in speaking to, these platforms that want to make an appearance during distance learning. And I feel like my teachers were just so overwhelmed with one platform over other, because everybody was offering like free trials at the time.
Yep.
And so, yeah, whatever they wanted, I would show them. But for the most part, I was only really promoting the ones that I felt strongly about. The ones that I know that I've really used and that have been effective in my learning spaces. And you all were at the top of the list. Like, I love it when the teachers reach out to me and say, you know, what information do you have, or the librarians, you know, what information do you have about Buncee? How can I get started? How can I log in? You know, what do I need to do? And I'm like, okay, yes, hold my pencils. Like, let me type up real quick. And I just love it because if I ever see you, or, you know, I get in contact with Ida, and you guys are always so open.
Yeah,
because I can't even imagine the amount of email traffic you face on a day-to-day, and the fact that you take, you know, time out of your busy schedule to connect with us all the way in the Rio Grande Valley.
I mean, this is, you know, one of the best parts for me, at least, about Buncee is connecting with you guys, and with, like, I mean, like I said, although we're not able to go in person to the classrooms and libraries, best we could all do now is virtual. So it's, and I guess we kind of try to take that, that mindset of, you know, obviously valuing everyone's opinion equally, you know, no matter who's giving us the feedback, it's important to us. So whether it be internal or external, that's a value we hold. So,
That's awesome.
certainly are a lot of emails sometimes, but that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
And that's funny that you say that, because Stephanie and I were in class yesterday, and a major part of the conversation was about not being afraid to accept that feedback to make yourself a more reflective educator, you know, because an effective librarian is a reflective librarian, as Dr. Shulman has said. And I love that. And, you know, you're absolutely right? It's like the users, what can they get out of it? What obstacles are they facing, you know, while using this platform? And I can speak to that because I remember I reached out to you, like, I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was before Immersive Reader. And I remember emailing you, or I don't know who, about, is there a way, like, my teachers are asking about, you know, can the questions be read out to the kids? Boom, like following week, hey, Immersive Reader. I was like, whoa.
Yes.
You guys are in my brain. What just happened? It was just amazing, you know, that you guys are always at the forefront of really speaking to the needs of you know, yes, the librarian, but my teachers, you know.
And the students at the end of it.
Yes, because they really needed something like that. And the fact that you all offered it, like, literally, I'm just going to pretend that was because of my question.
It was. I remember that's exactly why.
Exactly why it happened. I was just, wow, it was amazing.
Yeah. Immersive Reader, integrating with Immersive Reader was definitely a product highlight, I'd say, at Buncee, which, again, that brings the inclusivity to the actual product. I mean, when I did a PD for a district in New York City, District 11, and they were particularly happy that the language Bangla was available. So, yeah, it's not, I mean, not kudos, but we love working with Microsoft, and they're always adding new languages to the library. So right now, last I checked, it was 67, but I'm sure they're adding more.
Wow.
But I mean, what I love about Immersive Reader, in addition to, of course, students translating the language, is, especially during remote learning, for any non-native English-speaking families or caretakers at home with the student, they could translate homework, whatever it may be, within or whatever Immersive Reader is integrated into their native language. So that element of Buncee is something of Immersive Reader and Buncee is something I particularly like.
I love Immersive Reader. It has been such a game changer for my students, because my school is, like, I want to say 80% white kids, and very heavily affluent school, but the other 20% are students from literally everywhere, because the area that my school is in is a very tech community. And so we had kids who, you know, came in only speaking Japanese. I had a student who spoke Farsi. And it was so funny, because when I think of English language learners, I automatically assume Spanish, right? Not one of them spoke Spanish. It was everything else. But it was so cool, because when I showed them Buncee, and they could see, like, all the different ways they could implement it, and all the, like, different diverse backgrounds they could use, and then putting in Immersive Reader, they were like, oh, I can use my language. It was such a game changer for them.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine you're only Japanese or something, and you come into a completely American or English speaking library. Going from not having Immersive Reader to having Immersive Reader within Buncee or whatever tool you're using, obviously it's a game changer. There's actually a team member at Buncee who, he said when he was in school, he would use like a Korean English translation dictionary, just a paper dictionary, to translate homework. Imagine how much time that must have taken versus having Immersive Reader.
Yeah.
Available within Buncee. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best product moments was when we integrated with Immersive Reader last summer. And Microsoft's awesome to work with too.
That's a really neat partnership because it combines both of my loves. So yeah, Stephanie and I completed our Microsoft trainer certification.
Microsoft Innovative Educator Trainer.
Yes, there we go. MIE.
Oh, that's very cool. Congrats.
Thanks. And just being able to really advocate for that cross-platform use. Because yes, it's like I can do all this stuff with Microsoft, but did you know that you can also embed a Buncee into OneNote, or Wakelet. Or Wakelet, which little Miss Stephanie over here is wearing. Yeah, see, so we have the better theme.
T-shirt, Wakelet shirt. Wakelet Team. I mean, a lot of the ed tech tools that are spoken about a lot on social media. There's obviously a ton out there, but Flipgrid, Wakelet, Buncee, the Microsoft team, Google team we've worked with before. They're all really, I will say everyone has a similar mindset of kind of exactly what I'm saying really, but of what can we do to help the classroom. So it's the Wakelet team, we met them at BET. I would say that was another highlight of my ed tech experience, was getting to go to the BET conference and be at the Microsoft booth.
I thought that was so cool.
It was cool. And that was a tiring few months between going to BET in London, which was in January, and then right to TCEA. And I know some folks also do FETC. So kudos to them. But yeah, totally different world, obviously, at that time too. But that experience was really awesome. And all the folks at Microsoft, the Wakelet team, the Flipgrid team, they really are great to work with. And getting to, as you mentioned, getting to be able to use Buncee for a purpose, Flipgrid for a purpose, Wakelet for a purpose, and use them together for a greater purpose, that's awesome.
Yeah. So before we do our giveaway and end our show, what do you hope that people get out of Buncee?
Yeah, so I'll give you 2 points here. One of what my 28 years so far of experience, what I would say from this podcast or whatever, I'd say I could share what I've learned so far is you can, with ed tech and technology in general, you can really take something you're passionate about and make it into a career. So I actually did grow up as a book lover. Granted, I have been kind of a negligent book reader lately, but I used to, go in a tree in my backyard and I had a basket tied to the tree. I put the book in the tree. This was a phase, but and I would climb the tree and pull up the basket and read a chapter book or whatever.
That's so cool.
I thought I was I don't know what I thought, but so natively, I love books. I love education. This work at Buncee has many positives. I get to help classrooms. I get to connect with fellow book lovers and get to actually physically go into classrooms or libraries. So I guess I would like to share that, with ed tech or tech fields in general, you can really take what you're interested in and make it a career. And then in terms of what do I hope for Buncee, I guess, or for classrooms and schools implementing Buncee, a couple of things. One is, the story I mentioned of the New York City Special Needs High School, where the student was able to not only make that kind of note after, the note that I mentioned for the teacher, but she also was able to demonstrate her learning about beaks. They were doing a unit on long beaks and short beaks, and the student used our drawing tool and stickers to draw a long beak and draw a small beak. So making a tool that offers a lot of choices for students to be able to express themselves in one platform. That selectively mute student I mentioned, who was an English language learner, he was not able to verbally communicate, but he used our drawing tool as well to be able to demonstrate his learning of Athenian history, I think it was, or Athens. So I hope that Buncee can help students, K through 12 of varying abilities to creatively communicate and express themselves. And truthfully, especially right now, at the next few months or what have you, I hope that it brings some fun into classrooms in digital environments or in brick and mortar environments. Everyone it's been a stressful few months for everybody. So I do hope that, even if it's dancing Buncee Man, I hope that brings some fun to the libraries or classrooms.
That's awesome. Because it's all about empowering our learners, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And through that, you guys have really, really helped me, at least, in my experience with my kids. And I cannot thank you all enough for all the hours that you all put in to make this a perfect platform for us. And I'm not saying that just because you're here, but because I honestly know, I truly do believe, and it's honestly, people tell me to shut up about it, but I'm like, no, I love it. And I'm going to tell you.
We do tell you to. No, I mean, I would say the other thing I love about Buncee is, I already mentioned it, but it's getting to connect in person and virtually with like-minded folks such as yourself. So
yes. Thank you so much, though, for taking the time to come to our little episode. I
yes, honestly.
No, the honor is honestly,
it's ours.
Yeah, it's ours
for sure.
And you're amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to
of course,
talk to us about Buncee's history and just all the amazingness that comes with it. And I just, as always, feel always super just empowered and excited to get the day going with y'all, even if it's like a simple bookmark or a little sign that I need to add to the library. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And always listen.
Yeah. So anybody who's watching, if you have not checked out the Buncee platform, go to buncee.com.
On it.
Yes. I don't even know why you're still here. Just go and start creating.
Also, you could reach out to me for anyone watching, and I'd be happy to help you get started.
Yay!
And I have to say, Stephanie, as a side note, the fact that you knew Maggie and the Ferocious Beast, not that I don't love you as well, Karina, that was just my so
yay.
Yeah, it's like a Ren and Stimpy, Rocco's Modern Life kind of person.
I love those. It was on Nick Jr. and I used to just keep Nick I would keep Nick and Disney on all day long and just go back and forth between them, like watching from Nick Jr. all the way to Nick at Night. And then back when Disney had like the Disney Vault at like 9 p.m. I don't know. I would just watch. That's all I used to watch.
Yeah, I never watched Disney. I mean, what'd you call it? Nick Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's all right. We still love you too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. But so we have a couple of giveaways, or no, a couple.
Yeah, our sticker giveaway.
Our sticker giveaway
and I just loaded it into the chat.
Yes. So in the chat is a link to the bit.ly for our Tech It Over sticker giveaway, which is super duper cute. I don't know if you have an example. I don't even know where mine are, to be honest with you. There we go. Yay! They're super cute.
That's adorable.
Yeah,
I want one.
Fill it out too.
Yes,
so we
are getting one. Trust, you are getting one. So but yeah, we'll be giving away two. You'll get one from Stephanie. You'll get one from me, and make sure to fill out that form that we included in the comments. And we will pick one, I guess, tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we usually pick tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, and we'll announce it on social media. If you follow us on our Facebook Tech It Over page,
yes,
our own Twitter pages,
and our own Instagrams.
Yes, and our own. It's just gonna be all over the place. Okay, you'll know. You'll know if you win. And I know Deb's here. Yay, Deb!
Yay!
Right. And we Yay, Charlene. Oh, by the way, Charlene's also from New York. Yay, good job.
Thanks, Charlene, fellow New Yorker too.
And if there's anyone who follows our podcast, we're still waiting to get into Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
We're on Spotify and everywhere else, but we're still waiting to get into Apple Podcasts. That podcast will be up tomorrow morning. I've been trying to make sure that I'm consistent and that the podcast is up Thursday mornings.
Yes. So make sure to check those out.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good podcast episode, to be honest with you, because I know that sometimes we're always demonstrating, and it's like, how do you see that on a podcast?
Yeah, this is a really good one.
Yeah, this is a good one. So thank you so much.
That's a bad one. No.
I'm excited. I am so happy that you all were able to join us today. Thank you all for watching. We'll, I guess, be announcing the sticker giveaway winner tomorrow. And thank you so much, Francesca, for coming and talking to us and, just inspiring us with your awesomeness. And hopefully we can do this again. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, thank you for getting me to wear pants with buttons and makeup on. So there we go.
I went to work today and this was the first time I put on pants. Like, oh my God. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, this is our quarantine life. Make sure to tune in. I don't know. Our next episode is not until a couple weeks from now. The 23rd. I have to double check on the guest. Not sure who, but I'm pretty sure it'll be awesome. So make sure to tune in then. And thank you all for watching. We're gonna roll that. We're gonna roll that outro.